Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Shiftaholics Subaru Forester project video. I am super excited, and the reason for that is we're going to put the front of the Subaru together for the final time. And basically what that means is all of those months we spent fabricating and welding and body working and priming and sealing and painting, all of those months have basically culminated in this final finished product, which is in line with our original vision, which was just a cool sporty Forester. Now, don't get me wrong, we're definitely not done with the car. We still have the wide body rear quarter panels and the doors and all other kind of cool bodywork stuff that I have in line for this car, as well as drivetrain things that will come in the future. However, this is a big milestone. It took a while to get here. So in this episode, we will put together the front of the car. That means by the time the episode is done, the front will be together and we will not take it apart again. And also, we will start working on the rear end. So let's get to it. But before we start tinkering with the front of the car, there is a minor collision repair issue that I want to address first before we start unwrapping all of the freshly painted panels. Now I know what you must be thinking. Is this repair even necessary? I mean, we're going to alter the quarter panels anyway. And on some level I would have to agree with you. It really isn't necessary. It just has to do with my nature. I'm what you may call an aspiring perfectionist. So it just kind of bothered me looking at the damaged quarter panel, so I decided to fix it. So now that that's done, we can move on to the cool stuff, like putting the front of the car together. as you can see, we've made some progress on our Forester. It's actually starting to look like a car finally. We have the hood, the fenders, the lights, the brackets, some garnish pieces. Everything is more or less put together except the front bumper cover. And I don't want to put it on just yet. There are a couple of things that I want to get to that are kind of difficult to get to with the bumper cover on the car. So I want to get to that before doing the final assembly. And what I want to do next is I want to install some hella horns in the center of the car, right here. And in order for us to do this, we will have to relocate this signal wire for the passenger side horn. We just have to bring it over here. And we will have to just install a little mounting bracket in order for the horns to go right here. So what we're going to need to do our mod is a set of horns, obviously, some zip ties, those will be useful, and 18 gauge wire. Also, you can't do this mod without a relocation bracket. This is a tuner rack carbon fiber relocation bracket. Let me show you. Wow, it is very light. It is very, very light. Rigid too. Wow. So here's some mounting hardware. So let's get to it. So the first thing we must do is put these horns on the bracket here. So this is how the whole assembly should look like. We're not yet ready to put it on the car, we just have to do some minor wiring work. So what we need to do next is cut some wire. The next thing we need to do is install these male and female connectors onto each end. But before moving on to wire this thing to the car, there is one thing that I forgot, and that is the ground cable. We gotta make a ground cable. Now, just to make our life a little easier, I'm gonna pre-install this thing, these wires. And the way we're gonna do it is very simple. Okay, one's connected. Now, there's the next one. Okay, both are connected. Okay, now we can take this business to the car. So along with our installation kit, you should have all the little spacers and screws that you will need. And now that we have our horns installed, we can move on to the wiring. So we're going to take our long wire here and put the male end into the connection here. Yeah, there it is. And we're going to wire it through from the bottom of the car. And we're going to run this line along the main harness here. That means we'll have to fish it through a couple of holes here. And now that we have finished this little mod, we can move on to assembling the rest of the front end. It appears that we have a bit of a problem. We ran into an issue after installing our bumper cover. Basically, I forgot to order an important component. Let me show you. So as you can see, we are missing the panel that goes between the grille and the radiator support. Obviously these holes don't line up, so you can't clip the grille directly to the radiator support. This is why you need that closure panel. And since ours was destroyed in the previous collision, we cannot reuse it, so I just have to order a new one. My hope is that we get it soon so that we can finalize this whole front end assembly here. So I just placed an order for that panel that we need, and while we wait for that to come in, there's still plenty for us to do. The next thing on my agenda is modifying the splash shields in order to fit the bumper properly. And if you recall from previous episodes, we did modify the front end bumper, so the car is actually a little longer. The bumper sticks out further than the factory bumper, so the splash shields do not reach the end of the bumper. So what we're going to do to remedy that situation is we're going to extend them. So to make these custom splash shields, I'm gonna have to do a little bit of a hack. This trick was taught to me by a good dealer friend of mine that's unfortunately is no longer with us. But this trick, this little hack, works very well, and you can use it to repair a car or make a custom splash shield. It doesn't really matter. First thing you need is some of this stuff. You can buy this plastic, flexible plastic in a roll at any Home Depot or Lowe's or hardware store. It's basically flooring material. It's very durable, and you can shape it, give it shape, and it has plenty of flex. You can shape it with heat and, you know, forming. It's not that difficult. But in this case, we don't even need to shape it. All we have to do is extend the existing splash shield. So we just have to cut a shape that curves around the inner portion of the bumper and merges with the existing splash shield. So it's very simple. There's not that much modification needed. So we're just creating two separate pieces that we're going to use to extend our existing splash shields. So let me show you what the underside looks like. So we got the closure panel in the mail today, and what that means is we can actually install the bumper cover properly. It's another beautiful day and we've made good progress. In fact, the whole front of the car is all done. It's fully assembled. Basically, this is how the car is going to look like. There are a couple of things that we still need to address, like the tow hook cover. I forgot to paint that. We'll paint that later. And obviously we have to do some wet sanding and stuff like that to make it look right. There's some minor things, but mainly I can call it a wrap for the front end. Now we still have to assemble the passenger side door that we did the dent repair earlier, and so that's what we're gonna get to next. So I have some good news and I have some bad news. So the good news part is the car is assembled and it looks in line with what I originally imagined when I set off on this project. And now we have to get to the bad part, and that's basically this. We have been very busy the last few weeks, so I wasn't able to work on the car consistently. I know I said in the beginning of the video we'll get to the back end, we'll begin working on it or begin sketching things out. It's simply not going to happen. I did a lot of traveling. I went to SEMA and Subie Fest, and I had a great time. And I got some very cool ideas to add to this build to make it that much more unique. The whole theme of the project isn't changing. It's just just adding a few things that I saw at the shows that I think would really make the car pop. So if you like this type of content, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for your support, and please subscribe, like the videos, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.